Strength in WWE isn't just measured by how much weight a wrestler can lift. It's about how they turn that raw power into an unstoppable advantage inside the ring. Some giants possess muscles forged like steel, while smaller warriors have shocked the world by shattering every limit of physical possibility. In today's list, we'll explore the top 15 strongest wrestlers of all time, ranked by their strength-to-weight ratio, where skill, endurance, and willpower merge to create feats that defy belief. Let's get started right now. Wrestling Sphere, go! Number 15. Jinder Mahal. I know, when you hear the name Jinder Mahal, your first reaction might be to laugh and assume this list has lost all credibility. But set your bias aside for a moment and look at the facts. Jinder Mahal is genuinely one of the most physically impressive and powerful superstars WWE has ever seen. Before reaching the pinnacle as WWE champion, Jinder was nothing more than a background character. Lean, forgettable, and far from intimidating. Then he disappeared for a while, and when he returned, the entire world was stunned. His transformation was jaw-dropping. Every muscle on his body looked carved from steel, every movement radiated strength, focus, and unbreakable discipline. During that period, WWE even released several workout videos showcasing his intense training sessions, and what he pulled off in the gym was downright insane. He wasn't just lifting heavy. He was training like a machine, targeting endurance, speed, and control, traits that made him a more complete in-ring performer. When he finally captured the WWE Championship, Jinder looked like a warrior straight out of an Indian epic, proud, imposing, and exuding the aura of someone who had conquered himself before conquering others. Yet, for all his incredible physique, Jinder never truly displayed the full extent of his strength inside the ring. Still, his transformation remains one of the most remarkable in WWE history. With unshakable discipline, relentless training, and a will forged in steel, Jinder Mahal deserves his place here. A living reminder that with enough determination, a man can truly turn himself into a fighting machine beyond belief. Number 14. Kane. Even though his prime has long passed, the Big Red Machine Kane remains an unforgettable figure in WWE history. Mention his name, and you immediately picture that towering frame, the crimson mask, and those cold, menacing eyes, a mix of power and horror that defined an entire era of wrestling. At his peak, Kane wasn't just a mountain of muscle. He was a walking nightmare. Standing nearly 7 feet tall and weighing over 300 pounds, he could hoist an opponent into the air with one hand and drive them into the mat with his signature chokeslam, one of the most iconic finishers in wrestling history. His legendary clashes with The Undertaker created moments that will forever be etched into the hearts of millions of fans. Though time has taken its toll, Kane's raw power remains awe-inspiring. Even years later, he returned to the ring and went head-to-head with Braun Strowman, WWE's modern-day monster among men. The fact that Kane could still go toe-to-toe with someone like Strowman speaks volumes about his enduring strength and resilience. Beyond his physical dominance, Kane's mental toughness is what truly sets him apart. He's endured countless brutal matches, absorbed unimaginable punishment, yet rarely stayed down. With his ruthless style, near-superhuman strength, and the aura of a demon risen from hell, Kane isn't just one of the strongest. He's a living legend, a symbol that true power lies not only in muscle, but in the will to never back down. Number 13. Nia Jax. Yes, you heard that right. Who said this list was only for the men? When it comes to sheer power, Nia Jax absolutely earns her place here. From the moment she debuted in WWE, Nia proved she wasn't just another women's wrestler, she was the embodiment of dominance. She might not have the agility or finesse of some of her peers, but in terms of raw physical strength, few can come close. Nia could overpower her opponents with a single impact. She didn't need a string of technical moves or aerial stunts. One solid hit or a crushing slam was often enough to silence the crowd. In every match, her presence alone created an atmosphere of intimidation, forcing opponents into retreat after just one encounter. Whether on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, she faced many top-tier names, and most fell victim to her overwhelming force. Some may mention Tamina as a comparable powerhouse, but let's be honest, Nia Jax is the true female monster of WWE. She represents natural strength, confidence, and an unbreakable will. In a world where speed often steals the spotlight, Nia Jax proves that pure, unstoppable power can still command fear and respect in every arena she steps into. Number 12. Sheamus. When Sheamus was paired with Cesaro after their Best of 7 series, many fans were skeptical. They saw it as a desperate move to revive two fading names. But WWE proved everyone wrong. The Bar was born, and quickly became one of the most dominant, cohesive, and explosive tag teams of that era. Yet behind that success, people often forget that Sheamus had already established himself as one of the strongest wrestlers of his generation. Sheamus embodies the image of a true Celtic warrior, tough, relentless, and unbelievably powerful. His rock-solid physique, sledgehammer-like arms, and near-superhuman endurance made him a force few could match. His devastating brogue kick has dropped countless opponents in an instant, and his brawling high-impact fighting style has always been fierce and uncompromising. Inside the ring, Sheamus never shied away from giants. From Big Show and Mark Henry to Braun Strowman, he faced them all head-on. Every match felt like a battle for survival, and even though his prime years may have passed, his raw strength and warrior spirit still make him a symbol of resilience and might. For Sheamus, true power isn't just in the body, it's in the will. And that's exactly why the Celtic Warrior deserves his place among the strongest wrestlers of all time. Number 11. Goldberg. When you think of Goldberg, one image comes to mind, that of a human wrecking machine. At his peak, he wasn't just a wrestler. He was the embodiment of sheer power, a nightmare for anyone daring enough to step into the ring with him. Every time Goldberg made his entrance, the arena would erupt. His cold stare, deliberate walk, and explosive presence were enough to intimidate any opponent before the bell even rang. What truly set Goldberg apart was his incredible physical strength. His spears weren't just fast, they were devastating, capable of cutting down even the heaviest giants. And his legendary jackhammer, where he lifted massive opponents high into the air with one arm before slamming them down, showcased an almost superhuman level of athleticism. No mind games, no tricks. Goldberg's strategy was simple. Use overwhelming power to annihilate everything in his path. His iconic undefeated streak struck fear across the entire wrestling world. Even decades later, the name Goldberg still evokes the image of a steel warrior who could end a match in mere seconds. No matter the era, Goldberg stands as living proof that pure strength, when fused with unshakable will and cold precision, can forge an immortal legend. Number 10. The Big Show. If there was ever someone blessed by nature, it was the Big Show. His very name evokes an image of strength beyond human limits. At nearly 7 feet tall and weighing over 380 pounds, he's one of the most physically imposing athletes to ever step into a WWE ring. During 2014 to 2015, he faced harsh criticism, especially when teamed with Kane, as some called them the weakest part of WWE's roster. But Big Show silenced his doubters in the most spectacular way possible. When fans saw him sporting six-pack abs despite his enormous frame, jaws dropped in disbelief. For someone his size, simply moving with agility is impressive enough, yet Big Show maintained incredible power throughout decades of competition. He could lift 300-pound men as if they were nothing more than sandbags. His chokeslam and KO punch could end matches in seconds, leaving crowds in awe of his might. What makes Big Show truly remarkable isn't just muscle, it's endurance. He's faced legends across every generation, from Stone Cold and The Rock to modern powerhouses like Braun Strowman, and he's never stopped proving his worth. Even though he no longer competes as often, Big Show remains an enduring symbol of pure, unmatched strength in WWE history. A true giant, not only in size, but in the legacy he leaves behind. Number 9. Big E. Just one look at Big E's massive physique and you'll instantly understand why he's on this list. There's a reason people call him a walking muscle machine. Every movement, every flex of his body radiates raw energy and primal power that leaves audiences in awe. If there's anyone in WWE who looks like he could lift the moon itself, it's Big E. Even back in his NXT days, WWE made sure everyone knew about his incredible strength. His unique gimmick at the time said it all. Instead of pinning his opponents for the traditional 3 count, Big E held them down for 5. That's right, a 5-count pin. It was a small but brilliant way to show that Big E didn't just win matches, he crushed his opponents. Imagine if WrestleMania 25 had used a 5-count rule. Would Shawn Michaels have survived The Undertaker? A wild, yet fascinating thought. Beyond his dominance in the ring, Big E's gym numbers are just as jaw-dropping. He once warmed up with 225 pounds on close-grip bench presses and pushed 405 pounds just to get loose. There was even a moment when he caught a flying opponent midair, and slammed himself to the mat as if his body were made of steel. The crowd gasped in disbelief. From carrying Ryback on his shoulders to delivering the bone-crushing big ending, Big E has proven he's more than a wrestler. He's the embodiment of raw, resilient power. A true muscle monster etched into WWE history. Number 8. Bruno Sammartino. In an era before flashing lights, dramatic entrances, or social media hype, Bruno Sammartino rose to legendary status through pure strength, unbreakable will, and a spirit that refused to yield. He wasn't just a champion. He was a symbol of determination and the very foundation upon which professional wrestling was built. Bruno didn't step into the ring for fame. He fought to prove how far human willpower could go. Coming from humble beginnings, he spent years forging his body through the most basic old-school training methods, turning himself into living steel. No fancy technology, no supplements. Yet he achieved feats that shocked the world, bench pressing over 565 pounds, an almost impossible number for his time. It's no wonder fans hailed him as the Superman of the ring. But what made Bruno immortal wasn't just his muscle, it was his dominance. He held the WWF World Heavyweight Championship for an astounding 2,803 consecutive days, and over 4,000 days total in his career, records that have never been touched. Those numbers aren't just statistics, they're proof of endurance, consistency, and greatness that transcends eras. Bruno's legacy isn't measured in titles alone, but in the inspiration he gave to generations that followed. He was the embodiment of grit, a man who turned calloused hands and a relentless heart into symbols of immortality. For Bruno Sammartino, every match was a vow of honor, and throughout his career, that vow was never broken. Number 7. John Cena. From this point forward, every name could probably punch through a brick wall, and make the wall apologize. John Cena stands as the closest thing to a real-life superhero in professional wrestling. And to be a superhero, you need superhuman strength, something Cena has proven time and time again over the past 2 decades. Throughout his career, Cena has delivered countless moments that made fans' jaws drop. From overpowering massive opponents on his own, to that iconic scene where he lifted both Big Show and Edge simultaneously for an attitude adjustment, a moment that defied all logic. The combined weight of those two men was staggering, yet Cena executed the move cleanly, powerfully, and with total confidence, as if it were routine. But Cena's true power goes beyond muscle. It's in his mindset. He once said, "Nothing is impossible if you work harder than everyone else," and he's lived by that creed his entire career. He represents discipline, persistence, and the spirit to rise no matter how many times you're knocked down. Whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny that John Cena is living proof that true strength isn't just measured in pounds or lifts, it's measured in willpower. He turned from an ordinary wrestler into an immortal icon, a flesh-and-blood superhero who carried the very essence of WWE on his shoulders. Number 6. The Great Khali. In a world where anyone over 6 feet 7 inches already stands out, the Great Khali seemed to come from another dimension. Standing 7 feet 1 inch tall and weighing over 350 pounds, he wasn't just a wrestler, he was a moving mountain. Every time his entrance theme hit, the entire arena fell silent in awe. Each of Khali's steps echoed through the ring, sending invisible waves of pressure that made his opponents hesitate before the fight even began. What made Khali truly terrifying wasn't just his massive frame, it was the raw, primal strength that seemed to defy human limits. Fans were stunned when he effortlessly lifted John Cena, a man known for his own remarkable power, and slammed him down as if he were tossing a sandbag. He didn't rely on fancy moves. One single chop from those tree-trunk-sized arms could drop anyone in an instant. His most feared weapon, the Khali vice grip, was legendary. You could almost hear the crunch of bones as he crushed his opponent's skulls between his colossal hands. That hold once brought legends like Batista, Kane, and even The Undertaker to their knees, struggling in vain to escape its merciless pressure. Khali was never fast or agile, but he didn't have to be. His sheer presence alone made the entire ring feel small. The Great Khali embodied raw, untamed power, a being whose strength felt almost inhuman. And if you ever stood across from him in the ring, you'd understand. Sometimes, pure strength is the most frightening force on earth. Number 5. Brock Lesnar. Wait a second. Brock Lesnar only ranks 5th. Hard to believe, but yes. Still, that doesn't mean his strength is underestimated. It's just that no one has ever truly measured the limits of the beast incarnate. Brock isn't merely strong, He's the physical manifestation of destruction, a force so intense that even the ring seems to tremble when he enters. From his very first days in WWE, Lesnar shocked the world. He didn't need effort. One suplex was enough to send opponents weighing hundreds of pounds flying like rag dolls. "Welcome to Suplex City" wasn't a catchphrase, it was a warning. Almost every major WWE legend has felt that storm. From Big Show and Roman Reigns to Braun Strowman, they've all been hoisted high and slammed down with bone-shattering impact. What sets Lesnar apart is his rare combination of power, speed, and real combat skill. He's not just a pro wrestler, he's also a former UFC champion, a true fighter capable of taking down anyone, whether in a ring or inside a steel cage. Every movement he makes radiates total control and primal authority, the kind of strength that even the toughest men respect. The beast doesn't need words. When he steps out, chaos follows. If anyone has ever redefined what power truly means, it's Brock Lesnar, a man whose very stare can awaken genuine fear. Number 4. Cesaro. The very reason the strength-to-weight ratio exists in this list can be summed up in one name: Cesaro. He isn't a giant, nor does he possess the towering frame of others on this list. Yet the raw strength he wields commands universal respect. Cesaro makes you wonder how one man could possibly be that strong. Chris Jericho once revealed that most wrestlers need help from their opponents to execute a powerbomb, a little jump for momentum. Cesaro doesn't. He lifts his opponents entirely with his own might, no assistance, no tricks. Whether it's John Cena, Sheamus, or even the Big Show, Cesaro has hoisted them all before slamming them down with his devastating neutralizer. Perhaps his most iconic display of strength comes in the Cesaro swing, spinning massive opponents weighing hundreds of pounds around the ring for dozens of rotations while maintaining flawless balance. It's not just technique, it's proof of supreme body control and functional strength. Every time Cesaro performs, crowds erupt in disbelief because every move he does is powered by nothing but pure, authentic muscle. Cesaro doesn't need to be the biggest to be the strongest. He's the embodiment of discipline, dedication, and precision. In a world where strength is often exaggerated, Cesaro stands as living proof that real power speaks for itself, through every lift, every slam, and every thunderous roar that echoes across the ring. Number 3. Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant wasn't just a wrestler, he was the embodiment of the extraordinary. A figure beyond human scale, a living legend who made everyone feel small the moment they stood beside him. Standing 7 feet 4 inches tall and weighing over 500 pounds, Andre was truly WWE's moving mountain, a colossal force in human form. Born with acromegaly, a condition that caused continuous growth, Andre should have been limited by his body's biology, but instead, he turned it into a source of unmatched power. For nearly 15 years, he dominated professional wrestling, becoming an unshakable symbol of strength and awe. No one could truly bring him down, and every time he stepped into the ring, the ground seemed to tremble beneath his feet. Stories about Andre sound mythical, tales of him lifting multiple men at once, or downing over 100 beers without showing any effect. Yet for him, those weren't tall tales. They were just another day in his life. WWE even had to custom-build cars, beds, and chairs for him because his sheer size exceeded every standard design. In 1993, Andre became the very first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, a fitting honor for someone who transcended the word wrestler. Andre the Giant wasn't only powerful in body, but also monumental in legacy. A man who walked out of legend, and to this day, no one has ever truly replaced him at the top. Number 2. Braun Strowman. There's no debate here. Braun Strowman unquestionably earns his place on this list. Before joining WWE, he was a professional strongman competitor, which explains his extraordinary physique and almost superhuman strength. Standing over 7 feet tall and built like a moving fortress, Strowman is the kind of man who can make anyone stop and stare in disbelief. Braun isn't just strong, he defines the word monster. Anyone who's seen him go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar can attest to how rare it is for someone to push the beast to his limits. Every strike from Strowman feels like thunder crashing through the ring, instantly rattling his opponents. He doesn't rely on clever tricks or complex tactics, just pure, brute force to dominate everything in his path. One of the most jaw-dropping moments in WWE history came when Braun Strowman flipped over an actual ambulance. Yes, a real one, with his bare hands. No camera tricks, no gimmicks, just raw human strength on full display. That image burned itself into the minds of wrestling fans forever, serving as undeniable proof of his superhuman power. From his bone-crushing running power slam that sent opponents bouncing like rag dolls, to his uncanny ability to absorb punishment, Strowman always stood apart from the rest. Every time his entrance theme blared and the crowd roared, "Get these hands!" fans knew chaos was about to unfold. Braun Strowman isn't merely a powerhouse. He's the embodiment of primal, unrestrained strength. A walking natural disaster whose every step shakes the arena. And that's why he rightfully earns the title, the Monster Among Men. A true titan deserving of the number 2 spot among the strongest wrestlers in WWE history. Number 1. Mark Henry. If strength had a physical form, it would look exactly like Mark Henry. In WWE, no one has ever embodied the title, the Incredible Hulk, more perfectly than him. Every time that massive frame stepped through the curtain, the arena seemed to shake with anticipation. His finishing move, the world's strongest slam, wasn't just a wrestling maneuver, it was like being hit by a speeding freight train. One impact, and the entire crowd would erupt in shock and awe. Born in 1971, standing 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing over 412 pounds at his peak, Mark Henry was the very definition of pure power. But that power didn't come from luck, it was forged through years of relentless effort. Growing up in Texas, a young Henry once met Andre the Giant, who lifted him over the barricade for a brief, magical moment. That encounter changed his life. Henry made a promise to himself, "One day, the world will look at me the way I look at him." And he kept that promise in spectacular fashion. Before joining WWE, Henry represented the United States at the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona, competing in the super heavyweight weightlifting division. 3 years later, he captured gold, silver, and bronze medals at the Pan American Games, cementing his place among the strongest athletes on the planet. Those achievements convinced WWE to sign him to an exclusive contract in 1996, making Henry the company's first ever from-scratch powerhouse project. Over a career spanning more than 2 decades, Mark Henry faced and defeated some of the biggest names in wrestling, from Big Show and Kane to Shawn Michaels and even The Undertaker. Each of them, at some point, had to bow before his sheer might. Beyond the ring, he broke world powerlifting records without the use of supportive gear, proving that even outside of sports entertainment, he truly was the world's strongest man. Mark Henry wasn't just a wrestler, he was a force of nature. A symbol of discipline, perseverance, and unbreakable will. In WWE history, there will always be legends. But there will only ever be one world's strongest man, Mark Henry. True strength isn't just about muscles, it's about the spirit that never gives up. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any more incredible stories from Wrestling Sphere.